Thank you very much. So this is a huge opportunity for me. Uh, so I'm kind of nervous as well because this is the first time I'm ever speaking in this kind of forum, and I'm standing on kind of lots of people and kind of nervous as well. And I think this is a great opportunity. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I will talk more about my experience, how I felt being youth and being participant of APYA, and how I overcame the challenges. And then I will talk about a bit about my organization, National Deaf Federation Nepal. Can we have a presentation, please? So that's namaste. That's sign language. You can try. Namaste. And welcome. Can you go? So about me. So there are many APYA friends. So I think they now know about me. I'm Anju Gurung, and I'm from Nepal. So I think you also know about my linguistic background. I'm a sign language user. So when basically saying who I am a deaf girl. First, I'm a human, actually. Then I'm a deaf girl. I was not born deaf. So I lost my hearing at the age of 3. So it was typhoid, and I didn't get a proper health service, medical service, and because of that, I lost my hearing. And then after, my parents, they wanted to make me hearing. They just wanted to make my ear. They want to fix it, but that didn't work at all. So many years were they spent on that, but they couldn't make me hearing. And so lots of things they tried. They tried with the hearing aid. They tried with something else. They just think of medical perspective. They just think that I am deaf, I need to be fixed on. But that's not the point, actually. So that didn't help me at all. So I'm very thankful to doctors, my parents as well, because they tried it. But I don't think that that was the only problem. They should have think about this human diversity, and I can use sign language, and I can develop as well. So can I ask you a question? In what age most of the people you go to school? I think you go at 2 years, 3 years time, but I lost my many years going to school. I started school when I was 8. Because they spend a lot of time trying to make my ear hearing. But they didn't look at other perspective that I could go also deaf school, I can learn from sign language. So 8 years, those 8 years were most important is for learnings. So I was in my house without communication, I was having no information. And for those 8 years, I have nothing to discuss with my family, nothing to talk with my family because they don't know sign language, and I don't know how to speak and hear. So then after, I went to school at the age of 8. So I think then after, I found a new life. So my new life started after I get a sign language. So then after, I start talking about myself and start thinking about myself, who I am. And my family still, it's difficult with communicating with them. And one of the biggest challenges for me is to participate effectively from family, in society, in other part of work. So that's the barrier, hindrance I have because of language. So if a child can given sign language when it was detected deaf, then that children can do a lot. So I think the most important thing is the identity. So I'm human. I'm a part of a human diversity. I'm like you. And then after only I'm disabled. So one of the prime issue we discuss is education. So I'm very fortunate that I get education. But looking back to country, more than 80% disabled children, they don't go to school, or they just drop out from the school in the primary classes. There are some reasons like accessibility. the geographic regions, like physical disabled persons, it's not accessible for them to go to school. For us, there is no sign language school, a school where they give sign language. So I'm deaf, so the most important for me is sign language. If I could get sign language, so I could get any other things. So it was quite, I would say that I started learning quite late at age, so sometimes that make also a problem for my learning. So when I think about myself, I think I should have learned something when I was very small to make my life even better. So that's all about myself. So can we go? So one of the issue when we address person with disability, we call differently able or disabled. So many people, they like to call differently able. Just they think that if saying disabled, we will mind, we will take it negatively. But that's not the case. So disabled means like a person have long-term impairment and have a hindrance. That's a disability. I'm deaf. That's my reality. So I can't hear. So because of not hearing power, I don't have a communication. But I can't hear from my organs. I can't hear from my eyes or other body organ. So that's my identity. I'm disabled. So one of the important instruments developed by United Nations, Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability. So I just say some little bit about that convention. So this is a human rights instrument, especially focused for persons with disabilities. So it's clearly said that person with disabilities. It's classified us as a person with disability as well. And three main issues that highlighted in that CRPD were very important ones. So it's universal design. So whatever you make, you should be universal design. Everybody should be able to use that. And second is reasonable accommodation. And third one is discrimination based on disability. So I hope that you'll recognize our identity and respect us as a person with disability. I will talk about my organizations, what our work going on in our organization. So we call our organization NDFN, National Federation of Deaf Nepal. In Nepal, we have 75 districts, so in 38 districts. So we have deaf associations there. We reach up to 38 districts. So we are affiliated with World Federation of Deaf, WFD, and World Federation of Deaf Regional Secretary Asia Pacific. So we are internationally affiliated with those organizations and working with those organizations on our various issues. So status of deaf people in Nepal. So we have a kind of a census in 2001 done by UNICEF, and it highlighted the number is 192,000. And in 2068, that's in 2011, we have a census in Nepal, and it said 140,000 deaf people in Nepal, but the status is not that clear. So the Deaf Federation, according to their experience working in district, so they think that it should be 300,000 to 400,000 deaf people in Nepal. The most important thing, as I said, is sign language and communication for the deaf people. And we call ourselves, we like to call ourselves marginalized community as well, linguistic community. So looking at the sign language, so around only 25,000 had learned sign language. So majority are out of communication, still not being able to communicate at all. And we are working on sign language, resourcing on sign language, and only there are very few words, like 5,000 words, we have a constraint of words when we have to describe something. It's very limited words we have. Like when a children is there, there's like a hearing children can speak more than 10,000, 15,000 words. But for us, it's only 5,000. We are limited with those words. And one of the biggest challenges also interpreters. We have only 15 interpreters in Nepal. And if you compare the number of deaf and interpreters, so it's very, very huge difference. And always it's difficult to get an interpreter service. For every region we need interpreters, but it's very, very hard to get an interpreter in Nepal. So education, talking about education, there is education up to class 12. Then after, there is no education for deaf student in Nepal. So then after, I went to India for learning. So I have done my BA from India actually, not from Nepal. One of the other prime issues is like unemployment. Most of my friends, they have no employment. They finish their education, then after, they are doing nothing actually. And they are not also continuing with education because there is no education for them after 12. So the youth issue is there. They are youth and they are unemployed and they are doing nothing actually. So I think that's why I choose SDG 8, Decision Employment and Economic Growth, because that's very important for our deaf community, deaf youths, because how they can access to the employment, how they can be prepared ready to going there is one of the prime issue. So like only 300 deaf people are like kind of employed. So one of the major jobs they are doing is teacher, and on this kind of factories they are working on, and kind of a bakery shops. And there are very few people working in the government. Only one person in the government, only one deaf person working in the government. So I would like to talk a bit about the deaf education and Nepali Sign Language. So that's one of the biggest challenges, education for deaf children. Because when they go to school, it's already late. They go to school at 8 or 9, and then after, when they completed class 10, there's nothing then after. So one of the prime issue is the education, how we can make education better for deaf students. So what the research says, like only 20% of deaf children go to school, and 80% of deaf children, they don't go to school. They are not having the education. So we have kind of 19 deaf schools in Nepal, and only 1,800 children are there in the school. And so that's the minority actually. Majority are not in the school. Now, I think government is kind of working with the deaf education, and they're trying to make it better. That's something good to inform you all. So other issues are like we want to make kind of a video thing so that people can learn, children can learn quite easily. But there is no materials, no textbooks that is deaf friendly. So it's very difficult for deaf children to learn from those textbooks actually, because they have no language in the beginning and they have to start writing and reading. So I think that's something we need to promote on. So our organization vision is to strengthen deaf network, dignify deaf community with self-identity and rights. So for this, we need a partnership. To achieve this, we need a partnership with other CSO and government agency and international agency as well. And our mission is to empower our community, deaf community. And for that, through advocacy, and network developing, and capacity building should be done. So our objectives are, So we want to collect more signs in Nepali Sign Language, and we want to make it rich so that deaf children have to face no problem when it comes in terms of communication. And we are advocating for the equal rights for deaf people, and also implementing CRPD. As you might have noticed that how important is sign language for us. So still our government hasn't recognized sign language as an official language. So one of the issue going on in that, because they are not providing interpreter, because they said that your language is not yet recognized by the state. And another aspect is we need to reach to the village area as well, remote area as well, because there are many deaf people there without communication. So one of the prime issues is that we need to develop a networking all through the country. So another aspect is developing curriculum and textbook that's deaf friendly, so that deaf people can learn easily with their with accessibility. And another is unemployment is one of the biggest challenge. So we are working with the deaf youth so that we are also training them and creating awareness how to get job, how to sustain, or how to do their own private jobs as well. And another aspect is, so as I said, only 15 interpreters in Nepal. So it's very important for us to have more interpreters so that we can be part of the society, we can be part of the family, we can be part of the national building. For that as well, and we are working. So one of the other thing is deaf culture. So we are promoting deaf culture. So being a deaf, we have our own culture. We call it that deaf culture. So this is a map of Nepal, and so we just highlighted where we are, the networks. The red one are our networks. The yellow, there's no network yet. Oh, sorry, this picture is not that nice, but we are working with UNDP Nepal, and one of the things is that we are doing election, making the election accessible for the deaf people, because many deaf people, they don't vote at all. They are not being part of election because they don't know about voting, they don't know about the political parties, they don't know what to vote, for whom to vote actually. So we are working with UNDP ESP, Electoral Support Project, to promote the education for the deaf youths. And this other part we have recently done. So we have made a drama that's related with the election, the importance of election, why deaf people also should be part of election. And with UNDP, we are working to train deaf people so that they can go to remote area and teach other deaf people for their rights, their political rights. And this is one of the activities we have done recently. So especially I would like to highlight this because we protest and we demand to have our language as a recognized language of state. Still, they haven't recognized, so we had to do this kind of things as well. So we spent 4 days. All the deaf people around country, they gathered to Kathmandu, and we have this kind of protest for 4 days. And they agreed that they will make a kind of a planning so that they can recognize Nepali Sign Language as the official language of country. So I think political instability going on, that's why the problem is going on. But I think that we hope that we will get that sign language recognized very soon in our country. So I've been part of this Asia Pacific Youth Exchange. So I learned a lot about SDG. So before there is MDG, but in our community, we never discuss about that. We never had got chance to discuss about MDG. So, but now I got this opportunity. Our community is being included from the beginning phase. So what I learned from SDGs, the 17 goals, how we can promote the deaf youth, I will work on that part. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Anju. Please join us here in the panel. Your presentation was really impressive, and you brought it together basically to four very important points what people is about. And this is really, you said identity, right? You said it's about health, access to education, being included, having access to jobs. So this is also what this panel will be about. We'll discuss these aspects of people. As a medical doctor and social development expert, people are at the center of all these pieces for me personally. So I'm happy we are first. Anju, can you tell us a bit about what made you be involved in development and in that change for deaf people? Because you could have also chosen to, you know, be a teacher or do something else less maybe stressful. Yeah, so tell us what made you want to be part of change.
So the reason behind is like, so I think that only personal happiness is not a big thing. So I could have chosen to be teacher, I could have gone to research field, and I could have earned money as well and live my life in good way. But I think the development of the community, the backward community, deaf community is kind of a backward community, disability community. So how we can, I can promote my community, how I can create awareness in my society so that we can also be a part of the development, how we can be a part of development and how we can take the responsibility. That the things I wanted to explore.
What do you think is the most important thing for deaf youth except education?
I think decent employment. It's one of the, for their good life, it's very important that they should have a decent employment. That's one of the main part. And I think, so as I said that I went to school when I was 8. So I started to get language when I was 8. So I think the most important thing is that how we can intervene the deaf people, how we can identify them in early phase and start intervening with them education and other parts. That's something important as well.
Thank you. So education, again, a very important